Hello everyone and welcome to an interesting game between Okemakinde Toluwanimi versus Victor, and the game starts out with pawn to e4. We have pawn to e6, and now the move pawn to d4 comes on the board, and now white plays the move pawn to d5. We have the French defense on the board, and the advanced variation comes in pawn to c5, and now pawn to c3. White tries to send in the center now, and now the knight jumps in, the bishop drops out now to e3, defending this pawn with and also developing as well. Now the queen jumps out now to d2 and defends as well. So let's see what happens now. Black decides to capture, and now capture. White decides to recapture on the d file. So this is actually the first round of the tournament, and Okemakinde is actually the higher rated player here, so he would actually want to go for a win, and that for that matter. So the knight jumps in to c3, developing, and black brings out his knight, and white does the same as well, bringing out the knight to f3. So let's see what white decides to play. He could short castle here, but he tries to play the move knight to f5, and the bishop comes now to d3. The knight captures and the pawn recaptures now, giving Tolu the chance for the rook to come out when he eventually castles. Now bishop to d7, and now short castle here. The best move now is actually pawn to h6, and he actually short castles, which actually locks the king now in a weird position, and Tolu now needs to take advantage of this, playing the move rook ac1, and now rook ac8 comes in. The bishop now looks towards this side, and it seems like he plays the move pawn to h4. So now it seems like Victor has castled to a suitable place for an attack, and now pawn to h5. The best move now is pawn to f6 to try and limit this pawn chain, and then try and break the pawn structure. But he plays the move pawn to h6, which is actually a mistake, and now bishop to b1, one of the best moves in the position. The best move here now is actually pawn to f5 to stop this bishop's agenda along these light squares. But let's see if he will actually play the move. He's reaching out for his knight, and he jumps now with the knight to a5, which is actually a blunder. Now the best move in the position is actually to play the move queen to d3. Now these two pieces will actually create a mating attack around the king, and black will have to sacrifice material to stop it. He plays the move queen to d3, a stunning move, and Tolu already senses that he has a winning position in this place, and now black is forced to play the move pawn to f5, but it's already too late. Now the pawn captures en passant, the pawn capturing along this place, and you can see the level of panic mode that Victor is already facing here. The rook captures, and now queen to h7 is a no-brainer move, attacking the king and then forcing the king to either jump out here or to push it to the other square. So let's see what Tolu decides to play now. He reaches out for his knight and then plucks his knight to e5. Tolu is trying to grind this position in a very beautiful way. Now the knight controlling multiple squares and creating enormous attacks as well in the position. And now the queen jumps in now to d8, and will Tolu play the move queen to h7? Yes, he finds it. Now queen to h7, the king drops in, and now a very strong move here is to play the move. Let's see if he finds it now. The move rook captures will be a very solid move in this position, and let's see if he'll play it. So rook captures here. The queen cannot capture this because there is a fork on the d7 square, attacking both the king and the queen as well. So let's see if he will actually find the move now. Tolu decides to think for a bit. He started the game with 20 minutes, and now he has 21 minutes on his clock. Goes to show how prepared he is for this tournament. So let's see if he's going to find the winning move in this position, the nail-biting move. And after a long think, thought for almost 2 minutes plus, trying to assess the multiple ways to win. What is the best way to win in this position? Is it to actually play the move queen to h8 to maybe come here, check, and then try and win the queen? Is that possible? Or is it knight to d5 check or whatever? So he decides, sorry, that was a mistake. He decides to capture, rook captures now, the best move in the position. And now the rook cannot capture. The queen cannot capture this because the knight comes in here and attacking this king and the queen as well. So, and then the pawn cannot capture as well because there is a checkmate on the f7 square. So this is really, really fascinating how Tolu has been able to convert this position into a flawless victory. And let's see if he can complete it or not. His opponent still thinking. And Tolu looks at his opponent with that deadly stare. He knows that he has gotten this win in the bag. And he just needs to play the finishing move. And now he moves the king now to e7. The best move here now. He captures, queen captures. And now the king moves to d6. And now knight check, attacking the king and the queen. The king steps back now to c7. And now white can capture the queen. He reaches out for it. And he tries to confirm, is there a better move in the position? And he decides to capture it. The rook captures, and the fine move now is playing the move knight to d5, double attacking this and then capturing this as well. And you can see the level of amazement there by the spectators. The knight captures now, attacking the king. The pawn cannot capture because the rook is also capturing as well. You know, there is a popular saying that even the laziest of kings will surely flee in the face of a double attack. So this is what is currently happening now. Although this king has not been lazy, but he has to move king to b8 and Tolu captures the knight swiftly. And the engine is already calculating checkmate in 7 moves here already. So let's see. And now the knight drops back to c6. And Tolu instantly captures. He knows that he is winning and there is no much necessity to go for complication. So he sacrifices his rook. And now that move would actually end the game because if the pawn captures, the rook can just come in here or here. And then Tolu has the win. And Tolu tells him to tap his time. And now he resigns. What a wonderful game it was, grinding out the French defense and converting it into a smooth win. See you guys in the next video.